Excuses.
Facts.
I'm not gonna feel bad for you.
You might.
Alright, let's hear them.
The refs.
0 for 5 on the power play. Get out of here.
Nylander's out.
Injuries are a part of every cup run.
We don't have a real goaltender.
It's more of an explanation than an excuse.
Marchand's dirty.
Oh, get off your high horse. So are Bertuzzi, Domi, and Reeves.
The refs.
You said that one already.
Really? You're just gonna wave all of these away like it doesn't mean anything to you?
Well, there is one thing you could say that would make me feel for you.
Yeah, what's that?
Here. Say this.
I'm a Leafs fan.
Oh, you poor thing. I'm so sorry.
Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team. That is a dub! Woo! Game 3. Feels good. Feels good. And you know, the funniest part about this, the ha-ha, he, hoo stuff, Leafs fans were real pissed at the refs at the end of this one. And Bruins fans were real pissed at the refs for the whole game. So, both sides are upset, I guess. If you go 0 for 5 on the power play, I don't know if you really get to do the whole, the refs screwed us, but I kind of get it. Not in the sense where I think the refs screwed them, but at this point, you just got to be upset about something, right? God, I just love this helmet. Anyway, here's a 4-1-1 on that, though. The refs were bad. They were bad. They were really, really bad. And yes, they affected this game. Did they affect the outcome? I don't know. We can never know, right? We can never actually know. But for just about 2 periods, the Bruins couldn't buy a call. They couldn't buy a call. And there were calls to be made. And here's the thing. Leafs fans will sit there and go, what is this jerk talking about? The Bruins got the better side of the officiating. Now, the numbers don't back that up, but there's always some discourse about it. Here's the thing. We're never going to agree. Right? Bruins, Leafs, Boston, Toronto. We're not going to agree. So why are we going to bother debating each other about refs? Honestly, if you want to complain about the refs, complain to your own fan base about it. Which, if I was a Leafs fan, I wouldn't, because I actually saw most of you guys pointing out that the refs were bad, getting torched on Twitter because all the other fans of your team kept talking about your power play, which went 0 for 5. So maybe take my advice on that. Don't complain publicly, because I think you might get roasted. I'm trying to help you out. Trying to help out. They were bad, though. I don't think anyone can act like they weren't bad. The refs were bad. So bad. I think I said that enough. Holy crap. What a game. I still can't feel both of my arms. I really can't keep together a coherent thought at the moment because my brain's just doing this wiggly thing. I'm sure that's normal. What do you even... It was so good. This series is so good. Is it legitimately painful? Yes. I don't care which team you're a fan of. This hurts. This hurts to watch. Physically, it is a painful exercise, right? It's like planks. We're basically doing planks for 3 hours is what we're doing. It hurts. I know you agree with me too. I don't care who it is. If anyone in the comment is like, actually, I don't think it's that bad. Shut up. You're wrong. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Even if you're winning, minute and a half left, up by a goal, you're dying inside because you just want this so bad. So bad. What a series this has been. I don't know if this series is the better one or if Avs Jets is the better one. Obviously, I'm very biased. This is the better one. Nylander missing again for this one. 3 games in a row. You would really have loved to turn that into a 3-0 hole for the Leafs, but you're doing what you can. Oh my goodness. He comes back. Obviously, that team gets better, gets scarier, but because really right now, I feel like the role players for the Leafs haven't had a bunch of great moments. I think they're capable of it, but Bertuzzi's obviously been all over the ice, but he's playing in their top 6. Domi's playing in their top 6. Nyes is playing in their top 6.
So, like, these are the top lines you're seeing work with Matthews and Marner and Tavares. Below that, you really haven't seen a lot of guys have big moments in this series through 3 games. Obviously, that could change. We don't know, but it's been the difference in the series, I would say, because when the Tavares line is out, they're crushing their opponents. They're smothering them defensively, right? But on the other end of the ice, you're doing a pretty good job against them as well, right? Marner, he's had his moments. He's played pretty well, but he certainly hasn't gone nuclear. Matthews, the same thing. Like, these guys are on the ice. They're noticeable. They're making plays, but they haven't hit that level that just really crushes all your hope to come out of this series with a win. God forbid that happens. But I think you could agree with that. And you add Nylander to it, and everything just gets that much scarier because now you have another guy at that kind of level. But he is missing this one. For us, we are going to completely scramble the lines, and not only we, Monty, is going to completely scramble the lines and then continue to scramble through the whole game. But these are the new lines to start. Marchand, Coyle, Geeky, DeBrusk, Zacha, Pasta. I actually kind of vibed with that second line. It didn't perform well for most of it. And I know DeBrusk got goals and stuff, but that 5-on-5, that struggled. JVR, Frederick, Heinen, Beecher, Boquist, Maroon, Lohrei, Mack, Lindholm, Carlo, Wotherspoon, Shattenkirk, and Swayman, of course, is back in net. We're going to have a conversation about that. JVR is coming in for Lauko. No injury necessary there. They just decided to change things up a little bit. Lohrei is in for Grizz. Same thing. It's not an injury decision. We didn't think Grizz was playing up to the level that we had hoped. And then Wotherspoon is in for Peak, who is probably broke something in his hand. He's week to week. I have heard from people saying that he probably broke something. So that's not great. But when you first see these lineups, the first thought that comes to mind is, okay, this is where Monty's about to get himself into some trouble. You're changing everything after one loss. You might get, if this doesn't go well, you're going to get crushed by the fan base. It went well, more or less. There were huge peaks and valleys to this game for the Bruins play, and the lines kept scrambling so quickly it was hard to tell which ones were actually being good and which ones were struggling because they kept swapping so fast. That being said, I think we can all go, okay, all right, Monty, live to see another day. I'm not like an anti-Monty guy, but this was the game that you would really, this many changes, you get really nervous about it. And I don't think you can argue with that too much. Enough of the preamble, though. Let's talk about this game, shall we? Puck drops! 40 seconds in, and Benoit is going to give the Bruins a little gift. This is a gift. We take gifts. We take gifts this time of year. He chucks the puck over the glass with very little pressure. We're going to go to the power play, and it's a good power play. It's a really good power play. We don't score on it, but, well, gosh darn, it looked good. Won't be long till we give it back, though. 4:21 in. Lohrei is going to go for cross-checking in front of Swayman. I know there's a lot of debate about that call, but the call was the call. And you immediately go, all right, Lohrei, don't get rattled. Don't get rattled. We can do this. We could go to the penalty kill. Midway through the penalty kill, Heinen makes a great play to get the puck up, moving to the neutral zone, and springs Zacha for a shorthanded breakaway. Low glove. Samsonov barely gets enough, but he gets enough. And it's going to stay 0-0. We're going to kill off the rest of that penalty. 9:08 in. Zacha is going to go for tripping. We're going to penalty kill. It's a really strong kill once again. And at the end of the period, it's been frantic and it's been high-flying. And the hits are 32-28. There were 60 hits. Boston had the 32. The shots are 7-7 in the period. Pretty rugged defensive battle. But the score is 0-0. The frustrating part about all of that, the Bruins have had one 5-on-5 shot on net during the first period. Just the one. Just that one. Probably not going to win a lot of games if only one of your shots came at 5-on-5. The rest were either shorthanded or were on the power play. Second period starts. 7:15 in. Pasternak's going to go for hooking. This is where Bruins fans start to get real annoyed, because this is our third infraction, and the Leafs have done plenty of stuff. There's been high sticking, there's been cross-checking, there's been tripping. Nothing seems to be getting called. the refs have missed calls on us too. But this is now our third penalty kill. And the only thing that they've called in the Leafs so far is the one you have to call. Because you literally can't not call it. You watched him clear it over the glass, and it was 6 feet over the glass. This is where Bruins fans started to really get annoyed about it. And I was getting pretty annoyed myself, honestly. But we're going to kill it. So we'll move on. And we're not going to complain too much about it. 6:50 left of the period. And the Bruins look out of gas. They just look. And I think part of it was the officiating getting to them as well. They felt like everything they were doing was... Not everything they were doing was getting called. It was a very chippy game. But they were getting called, whereas their opponent wasn't. When it was a 50-50 call, it was them going. It looked like the Bruins were starting to really slow down. And this play starts innocently enough where Tavares gets held up in the neutral zone with his back turned towards the offensive zone. But he's just going to no-look chuck this across the ice to Edmondson, who's on the right wall. He's going to skate into the zone, and he has Marner coming down the slot. All right, give it to Marner. He'll make a play. And boy, does he. Because Marner edges his way to the right. Edmondson goes for the net front drive. Wotherspoon comes to Marner. Shattenkirk goes to Edmondson. And Marner's going to get Nyes, backdoor, perfect pass, tap in. Swayman doesn't have a chance in hell on this shot. And Zacha's just coasting behind Nyes the whole way. You can see him going the whole way. That is uncharacteristic of Zacha. I don't know where his head was at or why this was the play that was made. But this one kind of falls on him. You've got to be back-checking and at least disturbing that. Either way, it's 1-0, and everyone gets real frustrated because it does feel like just nothing's going the Bruins' way in this game. 30 seconds later, a breakaway for JVR, and Samsonov stones him 5-hole. Nothing's going the Bruins' way. 2:23 left. The Leaf crowd is losing their minds. And they're loud. God, what a great crowd. What a great crowd. Marchand and Bertuzzi are behind the play. They're skating up towards the neutral zone. And Bertuzzi, Marchand gives him a little, nudge. Bertuzzi grabs his stick, chicken wings it, and then takes a dive. And you'd have a hard time telling me that this was not very clearly him like, oh, he's got me. It was obvious. And then they tussle back and forth. He almost drags Marchand down. Marchand comes back up, gets him in the skates with a stick. Absolutely Marchand does that. Absolutely Bertuzzi falls down. But if you think from one side or the other that you deserve a call for these two guys wrestling, which they've done the whole game is Bertuzzi and Marchand just making out in the corner. I mean, well, more or less. That's what they're doing the whole time. They're just jawing at each other and tripping each other and harassing each other. And this is the moment where you're going to get picky about it and choose, well, only one guy deserved a call there. They both deserved a call there. Both of them. So what are we doing? Either way, they're losing their minds at this. And it looks like the Leafs stopped playing a little bit. Samsonov certainly did, because while all this is happening, Freddie is going to recover the puck in the neutral zone and start skating his way down the left wall. He's just buzzing, and he can't believe that through this game that has been so tight and aggressive, and the way Toronto's defensive structure has smothered the Bruins to the walls, he's got time and space to just skate. And the two defensemen in the zone are just backing up. They're keeping their angles. And Frederick gets in the left circle and just goes, all right, well, puck's to the net, boys. Low blocker. And Samsonov misses it. It gets through. I don't know if he was screened a little bit by the defenseman. Certainly didn't seem so, but it gets by. And it's 1-1. The crowd is jeering like crazy. It's an awesome atmosphere. And everything comes to life after this. I don't think this was a boring game by any means. It was tight checking and aggressive. But this is where it opens up. Unfortunately, this is going to start with the Bruins penalty. Because 1:22 left, McAvoy lays a big hit, and they call him for roughing. This hit was damn near identical to a couple of Reeves hits earlier in the game, and it made me want to cry because I was so angry that they were actually calling him for this. He does get both his hands in the guy's face when they are on the ground, so maybe that's what they're calling for it, and I need to stop being such an emotional brat about it. But I was shocked they called this. Either way, we're going to the penalty kill. And almost immediately we break away on a 2-on-1. Coyle misses the net high. Brutal. But Bertuzzi, basically directly after, high sticks him. Let me see what that actual call is. They call him for roughing. It was basically a high stick, but either way, that's the call. And the Bruins will then shave off about 40 seconds till they allow the whistle to go on this because it's so late in the period. They basically run it down like a shot clock would be in basketball, get into the zone, attempt to score, and then they call the penalty once the Toronto Maple Leafs finally touch the puck. So it's about 15 seconds left of the period. We're going to be on 4-on-4 for about 53 seconds total, 4-on-4, then 107 of a power play. Third period starts. We got some 4-on-4 time, and then we go to the power play. And 107 into the period, the power play time is dwindling. But the Bruins have taken a few hits to make sure that they can get the puck into the offensive zone. And it's a battle on the right wall where Pasta is pinned to the wall and battling. And Coyle is pinned to the wall and battling. And Coyle's actually the one who ends up winning this puck out and getting to Marchand, who's sitting in that right circle. And Marchand immediately turns and goes, yeah, let's get pucks to the net. Fires it on Samsonov. Samsonov does a poor job handling the rebound, and DeBrusk, who was playing the wall further down, saw this developing and went, front of the net, baby, that's my job. He's there to clean up the rebound. It is 2-1. First minute and 7 seconds of the third period, we take the lead, and DeBrusk now has 3 goals in this series. Not too shabby, I'd say so myself. Now, 3 minutes later, Lohrei is going to go for hooking this time. We're going to the penalty kill once again. And we kill it, mostly thanks to Swayman, the Bulldog, making 2 huge, sprawling saves. But a kill is a kill is a kill. 9:50 left, a contested JVR breakaway. Another one for him. He was cherry picking, let's be honest. He goes far post and out. That would have been huge. Didn't get it, though. And a minute and 15 seconds later, a completely inexcusable shift by Lindholm. Lindholm's had his struggles. He really has. On the left wall, a miscommunication with Pasternak means basically neither of them touch it, allowing Toronto to set back up in the zone. During this time, since we've scored that goal, it has been 11 minutes, something like that. That math's probably wrong, but whatever. It's been like 10 minutes. And we have failed clearances over and over and over and over. And every cell in my body was screaming because it was identical to the issues we've had earlier this season and last year in the playoffs, where once we took the lead, just forgot how to get out of our own zone. And they pinned us back in. And Domi on the right wall is just going to chuck this at Swayman. And Swayman's going to knock it away. And Marner's going to be there. No, Riley's going to be there above the left circle to collect this puck. And he's just going to chuck it on the net. Lindholm's there. So Lindholm, who failed the initial clearance with the miscommunication with Pasternak, but Lindholm's at the net front and sees that puck coming. And is puck watching, just waiting for it. And Bertuzzi comes up right from behind him, taps it past Swayman, and skates away celebrating while Lindholm's just sitting there holding his dick. That is just inexcusable at that junction of the game by what is supposed to be our second best defenseman. The puck watching, man. You can't do it at that level. You just can't. It's 2-2. And all of the life of the Bruins fans are sucked out because it takes them less than 30 seconds to get back into it. And who else but Marchand? The guy who, quite honestly, I've been looking at going, this is not good enough. You have to be better than this if we're going to go on a run. Like, Marchand has to, maybe he doesn't have to be prime Marchand, but he has to be closer to it because we need him desperately. Because a top 6 gets outmanned. They get outmatched skill-wise. They just do. There's Pasternak, a drop-off, Marchand, and another drop-off. That's the way it is. We need Marchand to be one of our better players. 28 seconds after they scored this goal, puck's in deep, and Trent Frederick, who's been really good this game, pins the defenseman to the boards, giving Heinen a chance to join the forecheck, collect the puck, and rip this away from a Leafs player to quickly slide it up to Marchand, who's in that right circle, who has zero space short side. But he doesn't need any space, because somehow he goes Sniperoonie and cheese, Bordowski, top corner, short side. The kind of goal that just gets you jazzed up. Calm. Let's keep it cool, calm, and collected. Let's not lose our minds here. It's just a goal, a game-winning goal in Game 3 by the Rat King, the captain of the Boston Bruins franchise. That's all it is. No big deal. It was awesome. And it makes Leafs fans want to die, which is kind of sad, and I feel bad about that because it's Marchand. But it makes me feel really good. So I'll take that trade. I'm going to have to take that trade. Sorry, Leafs fans. I know there's some Leafs fans who watch this channel, and I apologize. Genuinely, you can hate me during this time. It's okay. I respect it. I respect your hatred. 3 minutes left. Witherspoon, caught up high in the neutral zone, leads to a Robertson breakaway. Sway with the glove save. The game right there. The game. Sway makes the save. And then 1:05 left. McAvoy is yanked down by Tavares from behind as he's going for the puck. There's an empty net on the other side of the ice, so I see why Tavares did it. Does McAvoy go down kind of easy? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely he does. And I don't like it. I don't like that shit. I've been very, very vocal about that. But here we are. It happened. He gets back up because he gets the puck before any Leafs player does, so even though the delayed call is up, he tries to chuck it 200 feet, and it goes off the post. And I mean dead off the post, not glamps off the side, just dink, and came right back out front. So we're going to go on the power play. And as soon as Toronto gets a clearance, they're going to pull Samsonov again, and we're going to get the puck back in the neutral zone. And then from about 80 feet, Marchand is going to attempt it with 45 seconds left off the post. And then we get into the zone, and Pasta from the right wall, empty net off the post. And then Marchand goes to collect it, swoops around, puts it in the empty net. It's 4-2, and that's your final. That is your final. And your game notes are pretty simple. First of all, the bottom six, they're not winning every battle. They're not scoring every goal. That's not what's happening, right? Marchand scored 2. DeBrusk scored 1. Freddie scored 1. Freddie is your only bottom 6 guy who scored a goal here, right? And I don't think there were any points really shared other than that. I could go back because the lines got scrambled so much, but the bottom 6 had a few massive shifts. Massive shifts. Between the 8-minute mark and the 4-minute mark, I think that's kind of the gap that I had when I was going through the game. The bottom 6 managed to pin the Leafs in for about a minute and a half. And I mean literally in their zone for a minute and a half, without clearances or anything. It was just gorgeous. And Heinen and Boquist and Maroon and Freddie and Geeky, and these guys just kept coming in waves. They just kept disturbing them. It was such good defensive hockey because you're 200 feet from your own net and your forecheck is strong and you're laying the body. And yes, you're risky to transition with that. But the way these guys were cycling, you always had 3 guys back. It was gorgeous hockey. So impressed by that. And the bottom 6, even if they're not all over the score sheet, deserves a ton of credit for this win because they played a role in it, a big one. Other game notes. Refs were bad. Refs were bad. I think they favored the Leafs for most of it. Leafs fans think they favored the Bruins for most of it. I don't really care who's right at this point. But they were bad, and I think we can all agree to that. We can all agree they were bad. Face-offs. The Bruins went 20% from the face-off dot in the offensive zone. The Leafs went 50% in the offensive zone, meaning the offensive zone, like when they're in Boston zone, they went 50% on the draws. At 5-on-5, I should specify, at 5-on-5. And the Bruins went 20%. That's a tough margin. The Bruins struggle to set up and create offense as it is. Not being able to win faceoffs in the offensive zone is tough. And with the Leafs getting second change for 2 periods next game, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Something to look at, something to watch. But when we win faceoffs, which isn't very often, we look like a pretty decent team. Funny how that works. Swayman was fucking brilliant. Oh my God, he was so good. He was so good. Again, I'm with you. I find it impossible to move away from him, but I also sit there and go, but he's been so good given the circumstances. With the rotation going. Do you risk starting him again and then Toronto gets some moral victory by chasing Swayman or like just beating him and then you go back to Ullmark? And this is a tough call. And you know what? This is one of those calls where I'm going to say, I am glad that I'm not Monty, and I don't have to make this call. I think I lean towards starting Swayman for the second game in a row. I think that's where I lean. That's such a hard call. People are making it out to be some easy decision. I guess I get it can seem like an easy decision. That's a tough call, man. That's a tough call. Other notes, JVR for Lauco doesn't do much for me. I don't think JVR was very good. And Lorai. Peaks and valleys again. I don't think he's ready for this stage. I really don't. The valleys are too scary, honestly. So I don't think he was like a bad player. I don't think he was a good player. He was just out there. And he had good plays and bad plays, right? Him or Grizz, that's a tough call too. I'd probably still lean Grizz, honestly, but I could see where you'd want to keep Lorai in. I think his valleys are too tough. Either way, not a terrible showing from him, just not a great one. It was his first playoff game ever, though. You know? I mean, give him a little bit of rope there. What a game. I'm exhausted. What a freaking game. That was awesome. That was so cool. Oh, go Bees. Go Bees! And once again, it's time to give shout-outs to those who are keeping the lights on for this channel. We gotta shout out our top line tier to start. Let's start with Erica Poli, Colin Nolan, Len Krusevich, The Bugman, Brock Nope, Hans Slomo, Coach D, The Atomic Lizard, Bradley Johnson, Aaron Adams, Just Aaron, Darren Woodbury, Brett Arney, Pincent, and Nick Zatrullo. You guys and gals are absolute studs. But we can't mention the studs without mentioning the Stallions, our all-star tier, high-quality inspectors, John Kirk, Jacob Pratt, Heil E. Coyote, Adam Ella, Bruin Smash, Tupton D. Tashi, Joel, Abraxion, DeKingery, The Only Newts, A Tasty Snack, Doots42, and Jeremy. I can't say thank you enough. I appreciate all the support. You're absolute legends, stallions, whatever great adjective we can work in here. Thank you, everyone, from the depths of my heart. And go Bees!